everyone, welcome to my channel, Kindred Souls of Brooklyn. First of all, I want to wish everybody a happy and healthy Merry Christmas and holiday season. And folks, in this video, I want to do an awesome video about the amazing A&S department store in downtown Brooklyn, specifically A&S at Christmas time. It was the most amazing place to go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for a trip down memory lane. Firstly, for those who are not watching or too young to remember, I'll put up a little history of A&S department store. It was absorbed by Federated, which owns Macy's, back in 1995, as you could see. But the real golden time for me, I mean, I was born in 1965, and I'll tell you a great story about me, how a Santa Claus experience, how I stopped believing in Santa, but it was a really great story, and I'll tell you that a little bit farther down in the video. But the store was tremendous. I mean, I'll put the store up here now. It started in 1865, not to go too much into that, but it was just a tremendous store in downtown Brooklyn. It was the flagship for A&S department store, and they had thousands of workers there, and the mood, you know, the build-up of going to see Santa Claus there every year. In fact, they had an 8th floor. It was called Santa's Wonderland on the 8th floor. And what was so amazing was there was this tremendous build-up. If I could put something that was similar, it's like coming to the Magic Kingdom. When you get on that monorail or the ferry boat, you have that feeling. You park in the parking lot, and you're on the ferry boat or the monorail, and you're headed over, and you see a little glimpse of the castle. Then you get up, you get through the turnstiles on Main Street, and finally, like, the curtain opens up, and you see Main Street and the castle. This was kind of like how A&S department store was. First off, I have to say that I'm a guy who worked at the Magic Kingdom for a really long time, and I'm born December 24th. So Christmas and theming, I guess, was something that always appealed to me. But I wanted to say that going to A&S, I mean, first off, now I'm going to go back to a year, 1972. That was the year I stopped believing in Santa. But I'm going to talk about that year because Willy Wonka had just come out in the movie theaters the year before. So Willy Wonka was on the mind of all the kids and stuff like that. So for me, going to A&S, and I'm sure a lot of other people maybe, going to A&S was like going to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, except it was Christmas. And much in the same way of going to the factory, first off, I'll put up a picture up of this. When you walked into A&S, first, it's this huge, gigantic place, thousands of workers, people coming and going, downtown Brooklyn, the hub of Brooklyn, basically, countless people coming in and out. Before you got to the 8th floor, before you went upstairs or anything like that, they had these old escalators, right? These wooden escalators. But also, what they had was these gold elevators. And it almost seemed to me like a passageway into another kingdom or another realm, like being at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. You know, it was like, to me, and maybe this is what I was thinking, just like Willy Wonka's elevator, depending on the button you pressed, went to different areas. There was like 8 of these elevators inside of A&S that were gold. And to me, and of course, there was a special sign for the one going up to the 8th floor. But to me, going on those elevators was like being in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Each one went to a different special spot. And maybe that's what I was thinking. You have to understand, you know, you're a kid walking into this amazing winter wonderland. You've gone up an elevator, a golden elevator, and you come out and you see this tremendous Santa's workshop, and you see snow on the ground, you know, the fake, snow, and then we had real stuff outside. But you go in there and they got the make-believe reindeer, and they have all the Santa's helpers around. They got trees with presents. Such an amazing thing. And you know, I went there with my mom, and it was 1972. This year really stood out for me because it was the year I stopped believing in Santa, and I really kind of had my doubts along the way. I have an older brother and sister, and you know, I was in school, of course. But we went in, and my mom absolutely loves Christmas. And to my mom's credit, I never got chipped out of Christmas presents or birthday presents, being born so late in the year. So we walked into Santa's workshop on the 8th floor of A&S, and you know, I have to give A&S credit. They were probably the first place that I could ever remember anybody doing like a diversity situation in all of New York. So basically what they had in there, they had 3 different Santa Clauses. They had a white Santa, a black Santa, and they had a Puerto Rican Santa. So we walked in, and I guess the guy was burned out or something like that. The guy, you know, trying to direct you as to which place you were going to go. And he said, "Oh, hey, ma'am, how you doing? Can I help you?" So she goes, "Yeah, we're here to see Santa." So the guy turns around and says, "Which one do you want to see?" She's like, "Come on, huh? He's not even 6 years old yet. What are you telling him that for?" The guy goes, "Oh, geez, I'm really sorry. I apologize." She's, "All right, you know, we want to go in and see Santa." So I don't even remember what Santa we went to see. because, to my mom's credit too, and she really raised us right. There was really no color, and we had a lot of friends of all different everything. We lived in Brooklyn, so I don't even remember which one we saw, and I wish I had the picture of it, but it kind of cemented it. And my mom was like, oh, so I guess you know now there's no Santa. I was like, I kind of knew. But it was a great experience, and it was just testament to how amazing A&S was in Brooklyn. And the amazing thing that I loved about going to A&S, I'm sure you guys remember this too, they had this spectacular restaurant there called the Green Room. And I'd always go there either after seeing Santa or if we went through like back to school stuff. But the Green Room was amazing because it wasn't like a fancy schmancy place, but it just, I've put a picture up of it over here. But what was really nice is that you could go in there and get like a nice BLT sandwich or a chicken salad sandwich. It was kind of like simple foods, but yet it had this little elegance to it. So I always remember that as being part of A&S as well. And it's just a shame that these things really don't exist anymore, because when Macy's took it over, it just really wasn't the same. Macy's did some exclusive product, but I remember A&S had some nicer stuff. They had this thing called because it stood for, if you guys remember, Abraham and Straus. So I think it was 1986. They put this bear out called Abraham, and I have a picture of him. I'll put the picture of him right up over here. It was just really nice little products that they had, and just made going there a little bit extra fun. Go to A&S today, or rather Macy's, which took over for A&S. You could still find little vestiges of A&S there. Of course, the elevators are still there, and you still have a lot of the escalators. But it's just the whole heart of it kind of changed. But I'll put up a couple of pictures here, like one that I found a couple of years ago in A&S. I toured the back of it, which still had the Abraham and Straus name on it, which was a throwback to old times. I think that Macy's made a big mistake in taking away the A&S brand. It was owned by Macy's for a long time, but A&S was Brooklyn. There's nothing wrong with Macy's and, their wonderful store on 34th Street, but A&S has a Brooklyn vibe to it. It had that Brooklyn vibe. It had a lot of Brooklyn people, of course, working in there, and it just had its own sense of purpose and its own sense of identity. And I think when Macy's just switched that out in 1995, it really took a lot away from it. And I think it was a big mistake on the Macy's brand. I think they were trying to consolidate something and maybe make people go over to Manhattan, but it just lost its character and its personality when Macy's took it over. It was still a nice store, but I think that was a big mistake on their part. And looking back on it, I think if they were to look at it today, they might not have done that, taken away that part of the brand, because it did have a very unique identity to it. Alrighty, so I'd like to thank you guys for joining me on this video. If anybody out there has any A&S stories, I'd love to hear them. Please send me a comment. Please give me a like. Please subscribe, folks. I really appreciate if you guys could subscribe. And give me some ideas for some Brooklyn videos. I'm always looking for new ideas to celebrate Brooklyn and to remember all those wonderful old times and new times, present times, whatever. So everybody out there, have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you guys celebrate. Festivus for the rest of us, whatever you guys celebrate. So I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in to Kindred Souls of Brooklyn, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye.